Welcome to the Six-Figure Author Experiment, where we help you break through your first or next $100,000 goal. Parental discretion is advised. Now, let's get on with the show.
Hi, Lee.
Hi, jazz hands.
Yes, I think that's the thing, right? Like, I think we've now done it for so many episodes that just like jazz hands is the start.
It's fun.
We haven't talked for a little bit, and I have so many questions. We had a plan for what we were going to talk about this episode, and then chaos happened, and then we had another plan, and maybe we'll tie it all together, maybe we won't. I don't know.
I think we can.
So here's what I've been thinking about for this book launch, because like, I haven't done a lot of things for this series launch, and I've been mostly because I've been launching a Substack book. I have another book launch that was like coming in on this, and then I have another launch the middle of next month. And this is like secondary or tertiary. And it got me thinking about book launches and how we teach book launches. We always teach it as if the book launch is your main funding strategy, the main thing you're going to use money on, the main thing you're going to make money on at that time. But what if you are at a place where you just are happy with whatever? It's like pricing different, because we talked to Steve. He's like, Judge, put it at your books at $9.99. And it's like, cool, man. But I just kind of want people to read them. And I can't do very much because my income is, a lot of it's in conferences and nonfiction and other things. So what if your book launch is just a nice to have, not a must do well? And then you told me you had a strategy, and I'll let you talk about it. But I think they dovetail kind of together nicely.
Yeah, I was thinking of the I don't give a care launch strategy.
Yeah.
And the thing is, with your case study with the God's Verse Chronicles, you have already launched those books. And there is a time when you have a lot of energy behind a project. And ideally, you have a lot of it still when it comes time to launch in this space, whether you're trad or indie. The publishers are going to rely on you to put some juice behind the launch. And we think about movies, they come out with this big budget, and they're capitalizing on this. Oh my gosh, it's something new, which is a marketing event. Here's something brand new, you haven't read it before, you haven't seen it before. And the Amazon algorithm takes that new energy and multiplies it by 1,000,000, because they're algorithms have in the past, and this could change at any moment, but they favor the new. They favor the new content, which means there's this natural churn. And I think a lot of us, especially, I started in 2015, indie publishing, and I felt the treadmill. Okay, you just pump the algorithm and you're releasing 4 to 8 to 12 books. And I was able to write very short things so I could publish more and just get a lot of algorithm love. Okay, by the time the algorithm love has died away, that 30-day, 90-day cliff, everyone's probably heard of that if you've been in publishing for more than a couple of years. And by the time that cliff was dying, you had a pre-order up, or you had another book coming out within a few weeks, if not already out. So I was mentored by someone, and that was her strategy. She was like, I don't spend money on ads. I just launch every month, a 40 to 50,000 word novella book, whatever length you want to call that. And she made sure she could get a book bub on it. So it was over 150 pages. And she was just boom, 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 no ads. And she built a mailing list. But really a huge part of that was she was launching so often that she got a giant catalog pretty quickly. She was getting a lot of Amazon love. Amazon is oh, here's something new. We'll send emails to all the people who we know like your books. And she wrote in a long series, so she trained Amazon really well. Oh, nope, this is the reader to send me. And that is a strategy, and I adopted that strategy. But you have a completely different strategy, and I think that's really healthy. I think there are people listening, and they want off that treadmill. I think most of us want off the treadmill, and we're trying to figure out how to do that sustainably. And for you, the I don't give a F method is simple. You already launched these books. I vote you put them up and you treat them like I do an Italian translation. And you're like, if I get some money from StreetLib, which is great for Italian translations, great. If I get some money from Amazon, great. But that is not my main focus. That's it.
Right. Yeah, and I think that like what you're talking about is like the classic desert strategy, right? Where it's like write a book, and like 40 to 50,000 word books are a lot, but I know people who write 100,000 word books a month. Like
Oh, wow.
Sean McGuire like has a huge like Patreon, and she writes an entire 80 to 100,000 word book a month for that on top of the other stuff. Like and when you're talking about that, so people who are not deserts are always like, well, how do I what? And the truth is, I just wrote about this in on the author stack. It's like that is their marketing. It's like,
Yeah.
all of that time that you like spend in your reader groups and doing partnerships and like doing a mailing list, like deserts don't do that because their entire time of the month is spent like writing the book and then
Yeah.
launching the book and then writing the book and launching the book. So if you were a full-time author and you took literally every action that you do pretty much, and you instead directed all of it to launching a book, you probably could get 40,000 words written in a month, 50,000 words written in a month. And like that is the success path, like for a desert. The problem is if you are not a desert, like let's say you're an aquatic and your big thing is strategic partnerships and like doing events and like making everyone feel like delighted is like your big thing. Like you're trying to make everyone have an experience with you. Like most of your effort is in that. And that requires a lot of interaction. It requires a lot of meetings. My God, the amount of meetings that I have to have is like in like partnerships is like so many. And like you are like maneuvering things around and you're figuring out formats and like you're dealing with so many like cover designers and stuff. And like I swear, like the more like I do so much aquatic stuff now. And I'm like, how do they ever write? Because all I feel like, is in meetings or like on podcasts or like doing, but like, so
Emails.
yeah, you don't have 40,000 words. Like you might not put out a book every 6 months, but like you're putting out translations or podcast or some other thing that is taking up that time. So the more I think about author ecosystem and the more I think about ecosystems, it's like if you're a full-time author, we're probably all gifted roughly the same amount of like we'll get to the same amount of hours. And the question is your strategy writing another book in those hours? Is your strategy like partnering in those hours? Is your strategy like getting ambassadors and referrals and like making your people in your group feel super, super special? So like they are basically telling everyone about it for you. That's the Brandon Sanderson. Like, are you on podcasts and writing articles and doing guest blogging? So like you are the pinnacle that everything SEO backlinks to, or are you doing like a launch? And like that's not every strategy, but like those are 5 main strategies that are very different. And depending on which of those resonates with you the most, like you
Yeah.
probably are going to be like, well, I'm a desert. I'm going to do a book. And like my books have to be like right in the middle of they have to be. If you are doing that, you have to hit the middle of the market because like you're not doing promotion. Like the only thing you're doing is writing a book fast enough before that trend moves on, right? So like depending on what the thing is that is like absorbing your time, that kind of determines like where your energy is. And it also determines like where your book launch energy is.
Yeah. And the key word there is energy. Because if you're excited to write your book, time's going to fly and it's going to be fun. If you're excited to launch, same deal. I've been running a boot camp for dark romance authors, and I get off these 4-hour calls where we craft a marketing plan and then we do a bunch of work sprints to execute it. And I'm jazzed. I'm jazzed up. I'm like, dude, I got so much done and I was with people and then we workshopped each other's blurbs. So I didn't have to write a blurb and be like, I don't know if it's good or not. And then we talked about how to out test it. So the energy was behind it. And I got an email from you, Russell. I saw this email and it said, you were in this launch headspace for God's verse, and it was sucking energy away from writing prose, from writing all the stuff you write, which could be, your emails, your Substack, or new content for a comic, anything. And that clued me in that the wind isn't at your back here. You're feeling like you're pushing a boulder uphill versus running downhill. And I think it's better wherever you are to do what's going to make you feel like you're running downhill.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree with you. But like sometimes you were running down a bunny hill and like you can't. So like you want to level up, right? You want to like, let's say your bunny hill is making you $10,000 a year and like you want to make $50,000 a year. But like sometimes you can't do that running on the bunny hill. Like it just like once you run straight down that bunny hill and like you slide down and you're like taking a bike down and you're driving a car down and like you are like skydiving down, like eventually you're like, oh, like there's just no more money in the hill that I'm running. Like I have to get a bigger hill to run down, and then it's going to be so like there is a thing where a lot of people are like, I'm just happy doing the thing that I am. And I say, but like you complain about money all the time. It's like, oh, I want to make 10 times more money. And you're like, well,
yeah,
like, you like, I'm looking at your business. Like I see all of the things it is impossible doing the thing you want to, like making that money. And that is when like you're bringing in new strategies. You're doing new things. You're going bigger. You're finding new, bigger partnerships. But like, if you were happy running down the hill that you're running down, like, yeah, you should just try and skydive down it. I don't know, roll down it. Like you can just keep going faster and fast. So many people are on the bunny hill and like they're not even walking down it. Like they could like do so much to optimize that hill to make more money, as opposed to like finding a new hill, which is like kind of the author ecosystem thing where it's like, well, you found a bunny hill that works, like, and you are not optimizing it. So like you could probably just 10x your income by like optimizing and like by like being a better version of the hill that you're on. And then once you have that hill like optimized, then you could bring in other things or like grow the hill or like find bigger partnerships or do more things or like write the second series. Anyway,
I think the bunny hill is going to get boring. The bunny slopes get boring. That's why they're black diamond slopes. So people are like, I want more. I want to go to the next level.
Right.
And so, yeah, if someone's just starting out and you're like, I'm doing the bunny hill and it feels good. But like you said, if they're like, but I want more money, well, then they're going to seek better and better slopes.
Right.
So we've
think
skied with this metaphor for a very long time. I think it's right.
Yeah. And I think that like for me currently, like when I started this idea, so this has happened when we had Writer MBA too. It's like I'm like putting a launch in a like I kind of thought I would do this podcast, right? And like I kind of figured I would like limp through it and like maybe by the beginning of next year we would like be ready to do like launches or whatever. Like it would take some time. And like I did not realize that like, and I did not understand that like I was going to be adding more Writer MBA launches, more like future publishing launches. Like, so I'm like, well, on the scale of my launches, it's like I agreed to write this Substack book with Claire. Yeah. So like, I have to put that first when I'm launching it because it's not fair for her. Like we have the Writer MBA stuff and it's like, well, like that's like a huge contract that we signed. Like that has to go above like these books.
Yeah. And I think you've had a lot of juice and you launched them and you did a direct sales ad and you ran it. And now when it comes to the iterating of that and launching these, The only thing that could get you excited about putting them up on Amazon was doing a whole podcast about it, which is adding work. And I'm like, I benefited because I'm really enjoying this podcast and we get to bounce ideas off each other. And now we're collaborating on projects that I'm really excited about.
Right.
Like a comic and potential like future Substacks and stuff like that. And I'm going, this is awesome. And we're doing a comic on an old series of mine that I stopped writing and I'm kind of done with. But it's like the time has come for new life to happen.
Right.
And I filled my time between finishing the series and doing the comic with you with writing other stuff and following other projects. So there's always more projects. You're always going to be, and we were talking about abundance. And this is where I love the language of abundance because I use it as a metaphor to get me in a headspace where like anything is possible. And all I have to do is follow the love and follow the bliss and find the joy and magic will happen. Even though I know it's actually, you know, the way your brain works, it's like, you know, filtering out. And if you're a hunter, you're going to start to notice like your prey and your brain's like that is good for survival. So I'm hunting, you know, success or fun projects or whatever. And so I start to filter like that. But I like using the language of abundance and anything is possible. And I just want you to be in that headspace. I want you to be happy. And I think that being you looking at the Godsverse Chronicles and be like, look, if we get some momentum, that'll be really fun to talk about. And I think there will. Like, and if you get a wild hair and you're like, you know, I'm between projects and I've been playing around in Photoshop and I'm going to do some Godsverse Chronicles videos because I'm excited about that. Whatever.
Right.
Like then you're going to redo your sales page and like start running ads again or whatever. And I think that will come. And I think it'll come as you see a little bit more trickle of sales and more success. In the meantime, I vote you just think of these books on Amazon as a extra stream of income. And someone recently asked me, what's my wide strategy versus being in KU? Because I was in KU for a long time and now I'm transitioning most everything wide. And I told them that my wide strategy is to be everywhere.
Right.
And so you're wide with these books. Right. So you're
everywhere.
Is just, I'm going to be on Amazon. I'm going to be on Barnes & Noble. I will be on StreetLib. Nobody here has probably heard of StreetLib, but I'm there, you know, they paid me $37. Right. Yeah. And you use Draft to Digital or Publish Drive to get to all those places if you're tired of uploading stuff. Which brings me to another point is what if you took that, the Sleeping Beauty, the Spire? Chronicles, is that what it's called?
The Obsidian Spindle Saga.
Okay. The Obsidian Spindle Saga, which I have downloaded on my Kindle. I vote that you, in the future, if you're like, I have a light week, what if I just upload all those books right now? I think this would be really fun. And here's why. We're doing this podcast about like how to juice the algorithm and like do this correctly. And I think the part of the issue is these books aren't new to your audience. They've already all bought them and now you have to build a new audience. But that's good for the podcast because a lot of people are in that position. But I think it would be fun to see what if I slowly released a series versus what if I just put it all up.
Well, part of what I want,
because she might be like, no, you must be smart about it.
So I have the strategy of like, I will fail on a series, but to win on the next series. So like, part of me is like, well, I'm okay with doing whatever on this Godsverse Chronicles series because like I have the Obsidian Spindle Saga and like that is like the one that I'm very confident in like that one's ability to earn because I mean, have you seen the covers for that one? The new covers for that one? Like
I one-clicked immediately. I bought all of them.
Right. So like I'm almost positive that like that one those books will like earn.
Yeah, plus instead of portal fantasy, you're selling a fairy tale retelling. And I just have the feeling there's a bit more of a Facebook audience for fairy tale retelling, romance adjacent. Romance sells, guys. It just does. So make a romantic subplot if you can, like Russell did, because it helps. You want the romance reader.
This is the number one thing that I learned. Like, if you have a series, make it like you have to tie it into some romance thing, romance or thriller. It doesn't have to be like, because those are both huge categories and they are relatively different. They're pretty different audiences. And like you then have to like make the romance integral part if you want a series to like sell for like a
Okay.
big time series. So you should, every genre has like two or three things that like will hit it. So like for fantasy, it's like dragons and fairy tales. Like those are the things. And then layer in like a subplot of romance, and like you probably have like a big, that's what I learned about like when I was writing the Obsidian, when I was writing the Godsverse Chronicles, I was like, I need my next series to be like a romance, to have like a big romance in it. And like, yes, it should have been probably an MF romance to make it the biggest pop, but like it's an FF romance, and like most of the people
It's fine.
are
It's
like,
fine.
but like I was like, this book has to be about like the hook has to be romance. Like it has to like give the hook is this girl, the woman, the girl falls into a diabetic coma, and her half Gorgon girlfriend has to go into the dream realm to save her. And like the
Yeah.
whole thing, like there was like all of the rules are like romance rules as far as like when they have to get together, like how things have to end, like all of that stuff. But it's like a fantasy. It is not a romance, because if
Yeah.
you read the book, like you're going to be disappointed if you go in there saying it's a romance, but like it is very heavy romance. And the Godsverse Chronicles has a very heavy thriller element. Like all of the books are
Okay.
like built upon like a action adventure thriller framework. Um,
Okay.
but like almost no romance in that series, like
Yeah.
hella romance in like the Obsidian Spindle saga. So but like next June, I have a Kickstarter. It's called Eternity, and
Yeah.
it ties both series together along with my Dragon series. So like it ties all three series together in like one big thing. So my hope
Nice.
is what's going to happen is I'm going to release the Godsverse Chronicles. It will slowly build momentum. The people will be like, whoa, what is this thing? And then it's like, by the way, the Obsidian Spindle Saga is now the first four books are like available to buy now, or you can buy it during the campaign. And like that's going to take whatever energy I can build up for the Godsverse Chronicles into this new series, and hopefully bring people who like the Obsidian Spindle Saga back to the Godsverse as well. And it's going to like, they're going
Go
to
back and forth.
wash each other.
Love.
Um,
So you have this big overarching plan. Love it. Okay. And you obviously have a lot of energy about it. And you're like, next June. And I'm like, okay. So just put this, let it simmer, let it cook.
yeah, and that's what I learned about like the cliff is, if there is a cliff, it's like 14 days now. It's like probably like barely worth.
Yeah.
It's like barely
Yeah.
worth even considering. And like when you're wide, it's like, well, the cliff's really like the cliff is kind of important, but also like releasing really like every 6 weeks is not going to be super helpful on wide retailers anyway. And like that's half your income. It's like really once you have a heft of a book, you can start booking promos with like
Yeah.
the like that's actually how you sell a wide series, is like by
Book
doing
one.
all of these promos and like having a first
Yeah.
in series free, and like having enough books behind it. And I'm like, well, like I don't have enough books behind it to right at this moment to like really justify it. But like we talked about, when book 5 is coming out, which is in like November, then I
Yeah.
can book a bunch of promos, and like I'll then
Yeah.
have like a bunch of books out, and like we make a big deal about this book going free or like whatever. And um yeah, I just, up until that moment when like we are like when we have, because like what I have decided will happen is the first 4 books are going to come out. The book 4 is going to come out in December, in November. Then book 5, 6, 7, and 8 are already like have been released. I just don't have them available. I'm just going to release them like at the same time. And then book
Nice.
9 will be out in the week after Christmas. So it's
Okay.
like now we
I was
have
going to say week after Christmas, people have that gift card money.
right.
So, book some promo for that. I think November 11th, post US election, there's some juice before Thanksgiving's coming around. You're going to do some promo, and I would drop more promo, meaning discount book 1 again, or
Right.
discount book 1 and 2. Apply for book bubs on all the books that are out. Like you're rejected on book 1, just apply for 2, 3, 4, just go through, and until you get one. And if you get rejected or for a BookBub, say you submitted book one free, you can immediately reapply for book 1.99 or vice versa. And then, so that gives you 2 shots on the goal, and then do that for all the way through book 6 and just see what they give you. Cause sometimes in a series you notice like, man, the cover on book 4, like that just, there's a huge boost in sales and people really like it. And it contrasts nicely with the Facebook feed. So the ads do really well and it gets picked for BookBubs more often. Sometimes you have a book like that and it could be in the middle of your series and that's fine. Like Alana Johnson is like, she advertised book 2 and 4. And honestly, I think it's a little bit arbitrary. Like she found out what works for her, but I bet she breaks the rules and tries new stuff all the time and just falls back on that rule for her whenever. And you're going to find the rule that works for your series.
Well, and you had said something about how like when you have an anthology series, like it's a little, the rules are different, like than when it's so like with the Obsidian Spindle Saga, you got to start at 1 and go to 12. Like, I mean, you could read book 5 or book 9, but like they are cliffhangers. Like the books are like quadrilogies. So like like
Game of Thrones, like you start with the book 1,
right? Whereas like this series, the Gods vs. Chronicles, like is an anthology series. I can promote any book at any one time, and like thus, I don't know if it was you or Mal or Eric or Nick said it, but like one of you said like when you have an anthology series, you just like have now the option to promote every book in it, and it gets more powerful the more books that, not that other books don't get more powerful, but mostly what happens with a series you have to read in order is like you put out more books and like
it trickles down,
right? And it's like you still are mostly promoting book 1, but like when you have 12 books in there, an anthology series, you can market any of those books. Like you could spend a month every year marketing just one of the books and putting a price promo on one of the books. And if you got 12 books, that's 12 months of the year. You just can move through that forever. Whereas like, I'm not going to be promoting book 3 of the Obsidian Spindle Saga because like people will be furious at me if I did that. There's like 2 books that you must read.
Yeah. The great thing about it is you have a really strong book 1 of that series. And you're basically like Sleeping Beauty, guys. It's Sleeping Beauty. Retold as is it technically Portal Fantasy?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
And anyway, that's a really strong hook.
Right.
There's a reason why these fairy tales are evergreen. You're basically you're writing fan fiction, basically.
In a lot of
fan fiction.
Yeah, I mean, all the things that I love, like there's dragons, there's fairy tales, there's Portal Fantasy. But so here's another thing that I've been thinking about, because I've been thinking about like doing a new series and like doing what the next thing is. And
yes, see, that's why I was like, oh, you could just publish all these books. You have a plan. It sounds good. You're excited about it. But you're continuing to write. And if you get this mentally off your plate, like you free up brain space for the new.
Right. And so like I might, like you said, that I might just put all 12 books out next July, or like when they all come out, and just like release them all at the same time. And then like, I think probably if I were to do this again, like I would, for my own thing, like I could then spend next July just promoting the 12 books. But like now I have to like promote like a 12th of the thing, or it's coming out in this weird thing. So like, which is fine. Like, but like, this is how you
not to do that. I'm telling you, like, if the spirit moves you tomorrow and you're like, I'm going to do ads, great. But if not, like, let it simmer. You have a plan. It's June Kickstarter. Like, you know how to kickstart.
Yes. And like, when I think of this new series, I mean, I've definitely leveled up my network as time has gone on. And like, I now work with like you and many other 7-figure authors. And like, I think of this new series, and I'm like, I want to win. I've never had that before. I've never had this like idea that I could even like win with the series. But like, you know, I tried to write another Obsidian Gods vs. Chronicles book, and I'm like, this series will never win. Like it can do well, like, it can make money, but like,
You're like Bunny Slope.
Yes,
it's blue diamonds. I want black diamonds. It's not.
Yeah, I'm like, if I release both of these things well, like if I figure out like how to do retailer launches, then like I can just like I can win. And like I feel like when I went with this book for Melissa, when I'm doing this comic for you, I'm like, we are going to win. Like we're playing to win. And I'm ready, I think, to like play to win and not just to like play to like do a good job or like have a good series. I have so little, I have a finite number of energy.
Yeah,
Like I have
I get that.
finite energy that like if I'm going to put maximum effort in a series to like get it over, like I need it to have a chance to win. And like part of the Godsverse Chronicles is like it's never going to be number one on the Amazon store. It's just not. Like it won't be like it's not designed to be number one on the Amazon store. The Obsidian Spindle Saga might because like it's Sleeping Beauty. It's then the second book is Wicked Witch. Then the third book is like a Fairy Queen. And the fourth book is Red Riding Hood. It's like if you see
Oh
all
yeah.
four of those books, you're just gonna be like, I'm gonna buy all of them. Why would I not buy them? And then like there's a Dragon Warrior, and there's like so but like those four books are like built. So like if you like fairy tales, you're going to read them, and then you'll get hooked and read the rest of them. But like the next one's like the Sword Wielder, the Dark Prince, like the Dragon Warrior, and the Sunken Kingdom. So like if you like fantasy, probably gonna buy all eight of those if you see them. So like I don't know. Like I think part of my mentality is like if I'm going to if I'm going to take a precious space of my launch calendar next year to like do more, like it has to win Kickstarter. Like it has to win retailers. Like
Okay, that's two different. That's two.
I know. Well, that's because
Different
like I have a book in
goals.
June. The Eternity book is already written. So
Yeah.
like it can win Kickstarter. The book that we're doing can like win Kickstarter. Like it's like the comic is probably not going to win Amazon because like Amazon's not set up to sell like one issue of
For
a comic.
Yeah.
But like it could, but like it has to be, I have to be able to position it in a way where it will win the platform for me to
Be
take
excited.
and like to take pressure. Like I know it doesn't come across when I do these things, but like I'm like very sick with like chronic illnesses. Like I have long COVID. Like I have like a bunch of things that like make
Yeah.
me every week I can do maybe 6 to 8 hours of talks of like, and this came up because we're doing the Story Urge series, and I'm like, man, every week for 6 weeks we did 2 hours live. That means that's a fourth of my entire. That's been to a third and a fourth of the entire thing, my entire online calls and talks that I can do for 6 weeks for like more than a month. So like, what does that mean financially that to do that again, it has to do? It's like, or how do I build leverage so like the partnerships that we're developing are like going to amplify and leverage the thing, which is why I think that like, yes, I probably like I'm a tundra, but really I think like I'm an aquatic because like I think in partnerships generally, like that's at least my secondary strength. So yeah, like I also have problems turning my attention to the Godsverse Chronicles, partially because I'm like, well, like I kind of just like whatever money comes, it comes. Like you said, it's like, but it's not that I don't give a heck about it. It's more like, well, I'm going to Nink this month. Like
Yeah.
I then am going to be talking about Writer MBA. We have a Writer MBA book that's coming out. I'm doing a Substack book now. Like I have the 40,000 person email list is like in nonfiction, like just
Yeah.
kind of in focusing on nonfiction, like the leverage I have in nonfiction is so much greater than it has in fiction now. So like
Yeah.
and also, like, I probably, like, I don't know, like, should I, instead of doing a new series myself, try to, like, co-write with somebody? Should I, like, where should I be spending should I do, like, a mystery series? Should I do a romance series? Like, I have ideas of things, but, like, as I've never constructed a thing to both be something I love and winnable. And I'm trying really hard to like embrace my inner desert this year. And part of a desert strategy is like, I'm playing to win. I'm playing to go viral. I'm playing to be a series that like everyone reads. I'm playing to like optimize ads. I'm playing with all of these things in mind. And my life has mostly been like, whatever, like if you like a Russell thing, you're going to like this thing. And I don't know if that's even the right strategy to have, but like in the embracing of the desert, one of the things I respect the most about them is they can take themselves out of the writing and they can just say, oh, like I enjoy the process of writing. This is a thing that is popular. So I'm going to find a way to enjoy this. And my whole life has been about this is like, I love these things. I'm going to write these things. And I'm trying to embrace more. These are things that are popular. And how can I find the love in this for writing?
Well, this question excites me. Like, how do I write something that will win at Amazon or hit number one on Amazon or whatever? I'm interested in that. So I asked that question now. So your brain's going to work on it. You'll probably wake up in the middle of the night or hopefully get a good night's sleep and wake up in the morning and go, woo. But I have a couple thoughts because this is a great experiment. So you just said romance or thriller. Now,
yes.
So you could write either of those because you could find the fun in it. You could force yourself to do it, whatever. I'd rather you find the fun in it than force yourself. I don't think forcing yourself to do something is great, but whatever. The other thing to think about though is your career. You have items that you can build off of. When I am studying people who are hitting number one on Amazon, very often they have built a following for years. There are exceptions, and TikTok was involved, but they still were like brick by brick. They built this career. I'm talking like they did 40 dark romance novels and they did spin-offs in the same world. And they did Renee and I, Bad Boy Alpha, same world, spin-offs, different couples, we're 14, 15, 16 books in. And we can release another one and sell the rest. And you can build to being known because you have this groundswell of following. Plus, you end up writing something a little bit more trendy that hits and you get even more following. And the ideal is to do both of those things. So I vote, if your brain is listening, your subconscious, that you build off this portal fantasy, but you crank up the thriller and then you do a romantic subplot to 1 million.
Right.
Why? Because that fantasy will sell the rest of the stuff you've done. Now, if you get the most brilliant idea for the new Jack Reacher or whatever, John Ryan, Jack Ryan, Jim Ryan, whatever, they're all named Jack, I guess. Then write that thriller and do it, and it will be awesome. But I do think, how can I also build off the catalog so every reader, like you said, if they like Russell, they're going to like the Russell things, which is a really great way to think about it. I write sci-fi romance. I write all spicy romance, but sci-fi, fantasy, billionaire werewolf. And there is a component to the readership that goes, okay, if Lisa Vino's name is on it, I will buy it and I will probably like it. Some of it's a little too dark. Some of it's not dark enough, but they'll mostly buy it and like it. So you can depend on that. But I also look at, like, if I decided to just write a thriller and zero spicy romance, I'd probably do it. Well, I did a nonfiction book under a different pen name to just be like, okay, I don't need to build off this Lee Savino readership. So that's what I vote for you. What do you think?
So I have an idea. So I had two things about it, because like I'm with you. But like I also know the strain of portal fantasy is like not as deep as some of the other things. So I have this. So I wrote a book a long time. I wrote 3 books in this series called this town called East Willow. And the main one was called My Father Didn't Kill Himself. It's a mystery novel that is like about a gothy teen, a girl whose father commits suicide, and like she goes like very gothy and like then has to solve the murder. And decides it has to be she has to prove it's a murder or they'll lose their family house. And like so all of these things that like my audience liked. like it was popular when we launched it on Kickstarter. It was popular at tables. It was like, well, like gothy, ex-gothy teen soccer moms now, like theater kids, like they like the both of these things. And so is it about taking this strain? Or I realized that like she'll be 30 this year. Like I was like, I wrote this in 2011. Like it was that book came out in 2015. So like she was 16 then. Like it was supposed to be like 2012 that she wrote all these diary entries. Like
She could tie
she's
it
like
back.
almost 30. It's like, is there like a like failed human amateur sleuth coming back and like returning to their hometown kind of book? Because also my next book was Sorry for Existing. That character would be about 30 now. And then there was a mystery novel called Gumshoes, which was a middle grade novel, and they would be like 26. And it's like, is there a way to go back to, does it make any sense to go back to that catalog? And they all on page were in the same era of like when we were like, is she was in high school, the Gumshoes were in 8th grade, and like then he was like 18 roughly at this, or like 13 or 12 or 13 at the same time. So like, is there a like mystery series there? Two is I wrote this book called Vengeance, which is a revenge thriller. And I had my friend Jonas Saul, who's a multi-million author, edit it. And it's like, should I just like see what the deal is with this one? Like it's very contemporary.
Did
Like
you release it on Amazon yet?
no, I haven't done anything because like it'll eventually come to Amazon. Like I got Kickstarter stuff plans for it, and
Cool. I would do that for sure. So you already have the thriller in the bag.
well, I also have White Rabbit, which like hasn't ever been released, which is like a mystery novel in like Wonderland. So like there's this like, should I double down on like the romance, the fantasy element, or should I do something contemporary or that like would have a bigger audience and like use the through lines of like what my psychographic profile is of my people to like just say, well, you're probably a rebellious gothy ex-theater kid, and like I know you'll all like murder, and like this is like a gothy ex-theater kid and murder. Or yeah, anyway, so like those are my general buckets of
Yeah, I like it. The murder mystery, cool. I actually like the idea of them still being teens. YA can hit. There's 4 reading groups. So there's the babies, there's YA, there's, I guess I'm thinking of YA middle grade, kind of the same thing. And then I think there's a adult reading group and then like a senior reading group that they sometimes split out, but all but the babies read YA.
right.
So you could just have them be like the new Encyclopedia Browns, like going around and see about that. That would translate really well to a comic too, which you love. The thriller thing, you've already written them, so you don't even have to think about it. It's like, just release them and see how it goes and think about a cool plan for that. We can talk about that maybe in another call. But you have a lot of ideas, and your brain you're going to go to sleep and you're going to wake up and go, oh, that is a possible path to number 1 on Amazon or winning at Amazon or whatever. Right. And maybe you entertain being in KU or going with a publisher. Like nothing is off the table at this point. If you get a good idea and you're like, I could do that, then you're going to jump on it. And you have a lot of options, and your career can go many different directions. So I was talking about like build off the fantasy. It sounds like you're excited about doing something else, which is what Rebecca Yarros did. Right. If you had looked at her career and said, oh, you should keep writing, I think it was contemporary romance stuff, maybe YA, maybe new adult, you should just keep writing that. And she could have done really well with that, but she wanted to write romantasy. And romantasy was having a minute. So now she's a household name, and that's awesome with The Fourth Wing, the
Right.
novel, which I think is going to be a movie and all the good stuff. I hope, because I love seeing dragons on screen, not just that are
Sure.
R.R. Martin dragons. So yeah, there's a lot of good options. And this is where I want us all to live, in this possibility, creativity. And if saying anything is possible gets you there, great. If taking things off your plate that are weighing down your energy gets you there, then I would do both of those things.
Right.
Like, get yourself in a headspace where you're just super creative, you're really happy, and anything is possible. And sometimes I do think we write something and we're like, this is going to be kind of for me, it's going to be kind of niche, and that's fine. It's okay. Right. I've written super dark books, and then I've written what you call palate cleansers that are really silly and light and fun. And they both were successful in their own way. And I'm really happy I wrote them. So
yeah, I mean, I was thinking, like, let's say I take the next 2 years to release these books, these ones, the dragon, like, it's like, I'm still only 43. Like, I think 44, like 44, 43, like there's still like 30 years of like doing things. And I do think that for me, I do think like working with you and working with Monica and working with like all of these like super successful writing humans in these different ways, it like unlocked bits that I had not even thought of before. And in like, some of it was, oh, all of you say, like, all of you are very heavy on manifestation, like in different ways, but like, and then you just see like most successful, like I always thought when you got more successful, it became like more order was brought into chaos. But like in truth, it's like the opposite. It's like the more comfortable you have to live in chaos and just be like, I don't know, it sounds cool. Like maybe it'll, like, we just did this Substack book and it's like 700 backers. And I'm like, our direct sales book had 700 backers. I'm like, this book is like a niche platform book. How did it get 700 back? Like, what is even happening here? And it's like, Claire like taught me a lot working there. But it's like, you just have to put a bunch of stuff in like a goo or like in like an ether and be like, well, one of these things will crash and connect. And like Monica said this morning, it was like every launch is its own little like chaotic ecosystem thing. And it's like, it's true. It's like there are things you do for every launch. And like, but like they hit different every time. And like you kind of have to say, these are the things we're doing. This is the team we're putting in place. And like it's probably going to be not raise less than X, and it might raise more than Y. And like, I don't know. And I made a bunch of assumptions earlier this year, and most of them like have not existed, have like no longer exist. But like it has given me such clarity that like I'm kind of trying to think of like the next book, and not just like I need to write a new Godsverse book, or like I need to write something in the Cosmic Weave. But like what I want is like to win. Like, and I only have the energy, and I feel like I finally have the network and like the experience and like the fandom to like win. And it's like, what does winning mean? Where does winning mean? Like, is winning about partnerships and like having better partnerships? Like, is it about having a community of like ambassadors? Like, is it about like hitting #1 in the Amazon store? Like, is it about like building out a team so I don't have to worry about any of this stuff? Like, I don't know what like winning is, but like, I do have clarity of like, if I'm going to launch something again outside of what I already have, like, it needs to be a win. Like it needs to be there to like,
you want more, you want it to be bigger. And
Right.
I love that, because the biggest thing that comes out of collaboration for me is I am able to see what's possible. So when I collaborate with someone like you, it's like, oh, of course you can do a comic. Of course you can find artists. It's not that hard. There's tons of them. They all want your money. It's great. And you're around more 7-figure authors. And that's what happened to me, is I was mentored by 7-figure authors. Now I was like oh, I want to make money. And then I got around people making money. Well, it turns out when they're making money, they would make more money and more money and more money. So I was like, okay, the goalposts are moving, but that's fine because this is fun. And just being around the 7-figure authors, you already are like, well, wait, it is possible. So why was I saying no to it? And it just wasn't in your field. Just like for me, I stopped myself from being a published author for years, even though I could have. In 2008, I could have gone for it. I said no, because no one I knew was writing, and no one I knew was writing for a living. It just wasn't happening. I went to college to be around writers, and they were all professors. My advisor said, oh, I have some career advice for you. Are you ready? Marry a doctor. That's what he told me, which is great if that's what you want to do. But I was like, oh, how do I actually have a writing career? And he's like, if the doctor supports you, you can do whatever you want. I'm like, okay. But I love that you were around people, so they're stretching you. The other thought I had leading up to this podcast call was I was thinking about different people and going, well, who has the most successful career? Would it be someone who wrote a bunch of short fiction and published rapidly in Kindle Unlimited and was able to make 6 figures and then 7 or whatever and retire her husband and then do a podcast with you? Is it someone who does a bunch of Kickstarters and comics and gets to collaborate with cool people and also went into nonfiction? Because that's really fun to talk about career and like helping other authors make a career doing their weird projects. Is it someone who wrote a bunch of fiction and learned about the markets and went deep into the algorithms and then go, all right, well, I want to talk to people about that, and wrote a bunch of nonfiction and then makes income off of courses and nonfiction and the fiction, but the fiction's almost for fun? Or is it someone who writes 10,000 words a day and publishes as much as possible into Kindle Unlimited and then, volunteers a lot at her church? Like, who wins? And the answer is all of us win.
Absolutely.
Because I really like my career.
Right.
And it doesn't look anything like yours. But I realized I've never been TikTok viral. And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of a goal. Like, it would be cool, but I am very happy with my career not being famous, not being viral, not having a lot of people go look at me. I don't know. I mean, it could be a block, and maybe it's fine to be viral and my life wouldn't change all that much. It would be fun. It would be like going down a Black Diamond hill, I think, maybe. But also I'm really happy and like satisfied. So I'm just on my slope, my little bunny slope or whatever size slope it is, because it is actually pretty awesome.
Right.
And yeah, we want more, but when we look at what we do have, it's like, oh, we built it our way. And dude, if I wanted to do a Kickstarter every quarter, I would do a Kickstarter every quarter. Right now, I'm like, I literally told you and Monica, like, that sounds great. I'm putting on the back burner. I'm doing something else. And you were like, yeah, we can. Isn't that great? We have options.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I call myself semi-retired all the time because it's like, there are things I have to do, but like not many of them. And like, it's like, I can't just move to Portugal and never write again, but I probably could move to Portugal and write a little bit of time. I could write like,
which is very cheap. You probably could. It'd be great.
Yeah. But like, I do think that like when we are less successful, we end up thinking that we do things, and successful people are always successful at everything they do when like they first start doing it. And like when you start being around a lot more successful people, and then like incredibly successful people, like the most successful people like at their job in the world, you realize it's just like they kind of just embrace chaos. They're like, well, I have enough elements in this chaotic mess that like money will come. And like, sure, I like know probably where my money's going to come. But I told somebody, I posted something recently and I was like, I have no idea how I've ever made any money. And they're like, how is that possible? And I'm like, they're like, that's not something you should say. And I'm like, well, I can tell you exactly what I did. I can tell you the strategies I used. I can tell you like what each thing made and how things built over time. But if you were to ask me, why did Lee buy this series? I'd be like, or like, why did that person buy that series on that day? I'd be like, well, here's a list of possibilities, but like, I have no idea like why. did 30 people buy our Kickstarter today instead of like the other 6 weeks that we've had it live? I don't I
Yeah.
don't know. Like, why does it take X amount of, like, why do some people cancel their $1 membership like the day after and other people pay $2,500 a month for, I don't, it's like there's something in each person that like makes them connect with you, but like that connection, while it feels like it's like one to
Magical.
many, it's really like 1-to-1 a million times, which
Yes. Yes, because everybody is an individual. I read a book about going viral and like it was called How to Get a Million Followers. And the biggest takeaway I got from reading the first 60 pages, I should probably read more, was you're not getting a million followers. Every follower is one follower and they
Right.
are a person with a
Right.
whole lot going on. And that's where I like the metaphor of like, then happens.
Right. Well, you know, there's like honestly no way to explain it easily, except like, I don't know, there's like a magic. Like there's like the question mark. It's like there is enough people. I have enough irons in the fire. I have enough of a name. I have all of these elements. But like years ago, I felt like very unsuccessful. Before Monica was like, do you know everyone just has to write their own series and you just have written whatever you wanted, whenever you wanted. And like money has happened, like not as much money as you may want, but like you're not supposed to be able to like write a alien invasion book and then also write like a like dark romance teen like horror and like have them both be successful. And I was like, really? They're like, so it's like, you're right. Like that is success to some people who have either no success, less success, or feel trapped in doing the
they're
thing.
burnt out writing 40 billionaire romances in a row. And they're like, I'm not where I want to be either. So,
and for years, I was fine. I was happy writing the series that I knew. Like I always knew the Gods vs. Chronicles would not win the internet. Like it was like a weird series that like is a bunch of things that I love all chaosed into a thing. Like it was not designed to win the internet. Like I didn't care about winning the internet. Like, but now that I'm almost 10 years from writing, like over 10 years from writing the first comic in that series, like 10 years from even releasing like the first comic, and I'm soon to be 10 years from starting writing it. It's like I'm just in a different place. And I've been talking to people a lot about it is impossible to conceptualize 5 years ago for most people. It's like Donald Trump was in office a year from going through a re-election campaign 5 years ago. Like Avengers Endgame was still in theaters 5 years ago. Like that was 2000. We didn't even know what COVID didn't even exist as like a concept in anyone's mind. It's like there's been a whole ass pandemic and an entire presidential election and an entire new president in the time that 5 years has happened. Like the amount of people that have carried forward from 5 years ago is, and like I still am close with, is like not that many. Like not that many people that like are still in my network as far as like close personal friends who were there 5 years ago, because I have moved from comics to novels. I've like up leveled my nonfiction. I've like made a conference, and like I just am like more things have chaos on me. Like there's been much less consistency than probably with most people, but like in the 5 years, I realized that like now, currently, right now, there is a version of a series that I could write where I have the connections to like win the internet. Like I can, if done correctly, if I figure it out, I can utilize my network and my skill in writing to win.
Yeah. And you underestimate how far you can get you overestimate how far you can get in a year, and you underestimate how far you can get in 5 or 10.
Right. So it's like, well, am I gonna fit? Like, should I just write a book to write a book? Because I'm probably not. Like, I don't know. Like, should I find some thriller readers and just like, should I just do this Kickstarter in like this November, or like send this book to some people and see what they think. I'm like, I mean, Jonas Saul is like a pretty well-known revenge thriller author. Like he's sold like millions upon millions of books. Like he says that this is as good as anything he's read. Like, is that like enough? Like, I don't know. Like, so it's like, I'm not ready to be like, I'm not ready to write more thrillers unless
Okay.
someone's like, I will, like that series I told you, which is like Veronica Mars, but like in my universe, where it's like 10 years, like I would write that series because I love Delilah and those characters. Like, I don't know if I'm willing to do a contemporary thing without like some other like check mark or something. But I also have this really fun idea for a fantasy series, which is called Quest Girls, which is about this Charlie's Angels type agency that like when someone is when so like when you get a quest, almost every person who's ever gotten a quest is like 14 or 15, right? And it's like they probably are going to die. But like, what if there was like an agency that could just like guarantee you win for like a like stake in the winnings that you will have, and like you will live, and like you will get a little money, and like you will be able to like have a completed quest under your belt, and like you and then the agency gets like 90% of the loot at the end of the day. And like I was like, that's like the best new fantasy concept that I have come up with. And like I think that's very fun because the first one is like a new quest girl. Like they do a quest that at the end of it, she like is like good enough that like she joins the agency, and like it's kind of like through her eyes.
No, here's the conflict. The agency, you become indebted to them and then you work for them doing all these quests. So you have to like win back. What if it was like pieces of your soul, or like pieces of your freedom or something like that, something intangible?
Sure.
I like pieces of her soul. And
Sure.
then that way they're in conflict with, the angels are in conflict with Charlie, which is fun.
Yeah. So like that's if I were to do a fantasy concept, like that is the best idea that I have for a fantasy thriller romance. Like there's like thriller, there's romance, there's intrigue, there's dragons, there's like quests, there's like wizards, there's all of the things. And like there has the right satire elements for me. So like that is if I were to go for but like I also am like, will it win fantasy though? Like will it win? Like I don't know. Like it seems like weird. Like it seems like.
But if you're gonna have
weird.
fun with it, it doesn't matter. All right, I do have homework for you, though. Okay, so you see my mug?
Yeah.
It says 2740. If you make that every day, it's $1 million a year.
Sure.
So one of the things I like to do is track my income. That actually helped me a lot. It just normalizes like money, I guess. Because I had a weird relationship with money, and then now I'm not afraid of seeing big numbers in my bank account. So two things. One is set up a money tracker, track it every day. Just get used to being like, oh, I made $3 in interest or whatever. Thank you for the money, And then for the future months, so it's September, you're tracking for September. For October, you're putting in just giant numbers. Just put in whatever, like crazy numbers. When you open it, it's like, I made, $500,000. What? In October, just to normalize this. And the other thing I did was I printed out bank statements and I would cross out the totals, or I would actually just add commas and zeros. So it would still like be the number. And then it would be like 30,000 instead of 300. And my husband would be like, what is this? And I'm like, just ignore that. And now we have those sums of money in our bank account. So it normalizes it. So when it happens, you don't freak out and go blow it all. You reinvest it, or you're comfortable with just having it and investing in opportunities. But yeah, just seeing the numbers, if that is a goal for you, then do that. I just saw someone's book. They're really successful. I love all the success they're doing. I felt really jealous, and jealousy is telling you two things. One, you want it. Two, you think you can't have it. The reason it feels bad is because of the second part. So you just remove that and say, oh, I want it and I can have it.
Right.
It takes a little to get there, and that's okay. Being around those people will help you believe you can have it, because you'll be like, wait, she wears pants, I wear pants, and you just normalize it. But the one thing I saw in her paperbacks was millions of copies sold. So I'm going to do some visualization with making like a #1 Amazon tag, and then the book cover will say millions of copies sold. So doing the same thing, like normalizing the success. So do some of that. You don't have to tell anyone that you're doing it, like I am right now, but it works. So try it.
Awesome. I love it. All right. We've been doing this for more than an hour. Like, we should get out of here. Lee, where do you want to send people? What do you want to plug this week?
If you want some great collaboration, join the Millionaire Author Mastermind. I'm getting a ton of people coming over there. So if you're from the podcast, say hi and post about what you're liking on the podcast. Let's start a discussion. That's what the group is for. Discussion, collaboration, all positive vibes, please. But everyone's pretty awesome over there.
You know what I just realized? Yes, we should. Like, why do we not put our episode into that group? What a weird, like.
No, I do.
Do you? Oh.
Oh, you mean like just upload the video?
Sure. Like, I don't know why we should just like do things like that. Like, see, we're good. Like, these are things like you would be like, this is like basic marketing 101, Russell Lee. You guys are so successful. How do you not like? And
Because
we're like,
I don't
just
know.
like forget. Like we're doing it like
bunnies on
Yes.
bunny slopes.
absolutely. And I will say yes. Please do come to New Orleans. We're getting to the point that it's like 6 months out. So go to writermba.com/conference and. Then also go to sixfigureauthorexperiment.com and download the episodes, subscribe so you know all of the other things. Yeah, I understand this show is kind of a chaos engine, but like I love this chaos engine, and I think that like
chaos.
I love it. I love it. So all right, Lee, we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. For more, head on over to sixfigureauthorexperiment.com for archive access, resources, and more. We'll see you next time.